Okay, are you guys ready to move on to the Jurassic period? We are still on our timeline of life, but we are moving right along, millions of years at a time. So we are now still in the Mesozoic era. Remember, the first part of the year we were in the Paleozoic era. We talked about the age of invertebrates, the age of fish, the age of amphibians, and now we are in the age of reptiles. Okay, we did last week a little bit of work with the Triassic period, which is one of the three periods in the Mesozoic era, the first one. We talked about some of the new dinosaurs, the reptiles that we were seeing. We talked about the coniferous plants, so we did the pine cone work. We talked about how we're starting to see butterflies. We did the butterfly art project and the life cycle of the butterfly. So now we're moving along. We're moving out of the Triassic period into the Jurassic period. As we're getting into more and more dinosaurs, I'm going to be honest with you. I am probably going to butcher the names of these dinosaurs within an inch of their lives because I'm really not sure how to pronounce all of these different names. Also, second disclaimer, all these things look exactly alike to me. So, as we are studying these guys, I am going to go ahead and make a blanket apology now that it is highly possible that when I hold up one of these guys to demonstrate that I may hold up the wrong one, and I'm sorry. So I may say the wrong name and I may hold up the wrong thing. But what I want you to know, the main purpose of all of this and of the timeline of life is not so much that we are going to come out of this knowing the name of every single dinosaur and exactly when they appeared. The main thing that I want you guys to know is this is a very long progression. We are seeing throughout time things evolving, changing. We are being introduced as time goes on to new and more characters here. So that is what the takeaway is. I want you to just sort of see this progression of plants and animals evolving and changing and new plants and animals being introduced. So that's where we are. We are going to talk now about the Jurassic period. Some of you guys may have heard of the movie Jurassic Park. You're probably too young to see that, but maybe later on you'll see that movie. We're going to talk about some of the reptiles and other animals that are coming on the scene here during the Jurassic period. Okay, here's the pterodactyl. You guys have probably heard of him. He's a flying reptile with a tail, and it's the reptilian ancestors of birds. So these are the ancestors of what we'll later find birds. They'll come on later on in the timeline. Here is an oviparous mammal. Again, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher all these names. Look at this picture. See what you see in the picture. Think about we've talked about oval, ovo, meaning egg. And look and see what you see in this picture. But it says mammal, so let's think about that and think about some of the other things that we have read. Let's see. Plesiosaur. Let's see if we can find him. Let's see. It could be maybe this guy, although his neck looks a little long. See what you think. Let's see. Maybe this one, but his nose looks too long. Archaeopteryx. This guy. This is a famous fossil found in southern West Germany, which led to the discovery of this first bird. Looking like a reptile with feathers, the Archaeopteryx means ancient wing, and had a long, heavy tail with claws on its wings, so it probably crawled more than it flew. The most important development of this period, this egg-laying, warm-blooded animal ranged from 16 inches to 3 feet. So 16 inches, maybe about like this, 3 feet. So he's not so big, kind of medium. Here, back to our oviparous mammal. Here you go. It says, the jaws and teeth are the only thing left from these early mammals. The Eotheria, or small shrew-like animals, are similar to what is now the living spiny anteater from Australia. They lacked ears and had poor temperature control. So if you remember, I wish I had that book handy. We had, when we're reading a book, All Mammals, it's about animals being born alive and well, and we talked about the spiny anteater being one of 2 mammals that lays eggs. So this was its ancestor, a mammal that laid eggs. This came millions of years before our spiny anteater. Okay. The pterodactyl. It's a flying reptile with leathery wings, small useless legs, light bones, and a hairy body to keep heat in, a large brain for sight and balance, and great toothed beaks. They're not related to birds. Their wings are more bat-like. So what is a bat? So a bat is a mammal, but this looks like a bird, but it says it's a flying reptile. Interesting. Pterodactyls lived on cliffs by the sea. They couldn't take off from level ground because their legs were too weak to push them off. With weak arm muscles as well, pterodactyls were probably gliders rather than flyers, diving off the cliff walls. So remember we talked about the sugar glider and how it didn't really so much fly as it could just glide down. These guys started higher up on cliffs, and they could sort of use their big wings to glide down, kind of like our sugar glider. Okay, saltwater reptiles. This one I feel a little more confident about. This looks like our picture. Saltwater reptiles. Can you see him? Okay, other marine reptiles included the placodonts, which have flat teeth for crushing shellfish and armor plates. Ichthyosaurs, or fish lizards, had fish-like dorsal fins and a large tail for thrust. Few sea creatures were safe from these carnivores. Meat eaters. Okay, so I'm going to read to you just a little bit from this book. This is actually a really good book on dinosaurs and other prehistoric reptiles. Just a little bit about the Jurassic period and show you some of these pictures. And then later on in another video, you guys are going to do your sketching in your dinosaur journals. So we will look at some of our other dinosaur books for sketching purposes. But this says 150 million years ago in the Jurassic period. All around, we hear the soft slosh of water against the shores. The waters of the earth have risen. Shallow lakes and seas now cover much of what we know today as Europe and North America. The sunshine beats down. Mist hangs over the water. The climate is warm and sticky, but plant life is doing very well. All around tower palms and huge fern-like trees. So remember we talked about that earlier, about the palm trees, the ferns. You can even see back in the background here, I'll show you the pictures of the coniferous plants. This is a time when plants are found only in the tropics. This is a time when plants which are found only in the tropics today grew almost to the North Pole. All over the earth, the climate is mild. In the treetops, we see the movement of birds' wings. Surely it's a bird. It does not soar through the air. Instead, it seems to pull itself along in the trees with the help of claws on its wings, and now and then it glides across an open space. This is ancient wing, or Archaeopteryx, the first true bird. It is about the size of the pigeons we see today. Okay, so I'm going to point to him. They're up here. Can you see? Sorry, put it down. They're up here. You see carnivorous trees back here. So you're getting a sense of this is what it would have looked like back in the Jurassic period. Getting a sense of what it looked like. Let's see what it looks like underwater as well. Out over the water, safe from the bird stealer's reach, flies other creatures. This is a prowbeak, or here's a big one. Ramphorhynchus. That cannot be right. Prowbeak is not really a bird, but a flying reptile. Instead of feathers, it has leathery skin. And then I'll show you some of the things that are underwater. So this shows us what it would look like in the sky and under the water during the Jurassic period. So what you can see under here are guys like this, swimming around under the water, like this, like this. Okay. Far inland, upriver, where the water is fairly shallow, we see a strange sight. A pair of eyes and a pair of nostrils poke up above the still water. The bone around the nostrils forms a small dome. This dome belongs to Brachiosaurus, or great arms. Okay, so I feel like it is perhaps this guy or something similar. Great Arms is the heaviest of all dinosaurs. He weighs about 50 tons. As he thrusts his head up into the air, we see that he has a long, heavy neck. It is perched high on his heavy body. His huge front legs or arms are longer and heavier than his back legs. Okay. Well, so this guy looks like his arms are longer, and it has the dome on top of his head, which it says that he has a small dome head. So I think we're close. Brachiosaurus is so heavy that he needs 4 legs built like pillars to support his weight. And see, this guy has thick, heavy legs and big feet. But even they do not do it easily. This is one reason he stays in the water much of the time. The water helps hold him up. The other reason is safety. Brachiosaurus is very slow moving and clumsy when he does have to lumber out onto land. Okay, so I'll show you the picture and you see if you think we found the right one. Ah. See the dome on top of his head? Long neck. Okay. Nearby feeds Diplodocus, which I think it's this guy here. Whose name means double-beamed. This is the longest of all dinosaurs. He measures as much as 87.5 feet. 87.5 feet. That is huge. I am about 5 feet. 5'4". So that is huge. If Diplodocus does have to go ashore, he walks with his long neck stretching far out in front to balance his long tail behind. So he has a long neck in the front, which balances the long tail in the back. But he does not waste much time walking, for his head and mouth are tiny. His body is huge. He can take only very small bites with his weak teeth. And it takes a lot to make a meal for him. So he has to spend most of his time steadily eating to keep himself well fed. Yeah. Okay. Very good. The third dinosaur giant is the Brontosaurus, the thunder lizard. Thunder lizard does not go ashore much either. Like the two other giants, he is a peace-loving plant eater. She is not as heavy as the Brachiosaurus or as long as the Diplodocus, but she does weigh 30 tons and is about 67 feet from nose to tail tip. Today, the Brontosaurus has come ashore to lay some eggs. She has just finished smoothing sand over the grasses over the nest full. Then she heads back to the safety of the water, but today is not her lucky day. The Allosaurus, the hunter, has caught sight of her, and the Allosaurus is not interested in eggs, and he does not care for plants to eat. He likes meat. So if he likes meat, he is a carnivore. Great chunks of flesh. He's about 35 feet. So look at him. Let's see if we have, we don't have, no. We don't have one of him. But look at him taking he's taking a chunk right out of her neck. He's a carnivore. Brontosaurus plunges into the shallow water and the Allosaurus strikes again. His jaws close upon her neck. The Brontosaurus cannot save herself now, but as she sinks, she throws her great weight upon the killer. The Allosaurus, with his jaws still locked about Bronto's neck, is pushed beneath the water. 30 tons pin him helpless in the sand. So these are just a few. There are a lot more. These are just a few of our dinosaurs, our reptiles, even one of our mammals that are coming about in the Jurassic period. So in your next lesson, what I'm going to do is send a video to you guys of what I want you to do with your drawing and sketching. I have this great book that says The Great Hall of Dinosaurs, an Artist's Exploration into the Jurassic World. So I'm going to send some copies home with you from this book for your dinosaur journal. Okay? Thanks for your patience, guys. I know that was a tough one. So thank you.